Those of you who just joined us, this is the meet and greet for EBU and SVT, and welcome viewers online. So let's now give the organizers here from EBU and SVT a warm hand and invite them into this cozy corner over here. Good morning. Good morning. God morgon. God morgon. God morgon.
Ska du dela på?
So, I'm sure most of the audience here online and in the press room here knows you very well by now, but just in case, please grab a microphone and introduce yourselves.
Jon Olasan from the EBU. I'm the Executive Supervisor of Eurovision Song Contest and Head of Live Events at the EBU, because we have a lot more prominent programs that we share with the audience in Europe.
Johan Bernhagen, Executive Producer from SVT.
I'm Sam Stojanovic and I'm the show producer.
Martin Österdahl, I'm the executive producer from SVT.
Chris Björkman, Contest Producer.
You look like you are doing great, even though you're sort of in the middle of this mega work you're performing here. So Jon Olasan, how is everything going?
It's going well. We've had now a good week of rehearsals with the delegations on site. It's going well. On time, no technical errors, not major technical errors. Very well prepared team from SVT, prepared delegations. We see more and more tension is rising now when people are entering into the second rehearsal. On their individual rehearsals. But I must say, having hosted this just a couple of years ago, SVT has most of the same core team in place, and of course we benefit all from that they have the recent experience with the Eurovision Song Contest. Also for the preparation throughout the years, you could see that they could stack sort of the different tasks in a little differently, in a different order, and even prepare better. And you can see that on top of everything you need to just organize it. You need to have a creative will and creative ideas that can fly. And you also see that SVT this year really has put an effort into the values of the song contest, the good ideas and the mission and vision, if you can put it like that. And also by putting Christer in a designated role as the contest producer, you can give each delegation much more focus and much more help, actually. And of course for us from the EBU, with all our members coming here, that is very important. So they have time and they have the will to do so. So it's going well.
Excellent. And the big news about Eurovision being broadcasted in the United States that we got the other day, what does that actually mean?
Well, it means that for the first time we'll be able to broadcast live the grand final of Eurovision Song Contest in the US market. And this deal with Viacom, a huge media player in the US, is actually something we're proud of. And we're proud that we can bring all these good acts out to a US market. They reach 50 million households in the United States. They have channels like MTV and VH1. And it's a fantastic opportunity, and broaden this out has always been one of my dreams. Look what we have here. We have a good thing going in Europe. You should see it. And that's why we also now is working with our member in Australia to try to set up an Asian Song Contest. That is not Eurovision Song Contest as such, but Eurovision Song Contest Asia. And we have really good talks with major broadcasters in the Asian region. So maybe we can have a sister or a brother in Asia in a short time.
So it's going global.
Yeah, it's going more and more global, but I think the core of Eurovision Song Contest will be Europe. It will be Eurovision Song Contest as we know it, but then we could have other song contests maybe playing in other territories, and of course also the transmission of Eurovision Song Contest also now in China, in New Zealand, in Australia of course, and now in the US. It's great for the contest, I think.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
So Martin and Johan, you're both executive producers. Could you please tell us about the production this year?
Yes, well, it's a great honor, and we're very happy to be able to host it again so soon after we did it in Malmö 2013. And of course, when we won again now in Vienna, we were all a bit surprised. We didn't actually, in the same way, expect to win as we did in Baku with Lorraine, even though Mons was a huge favorite as well. And we had to sit down and sort of ask ourselves, are we ready to do this again? Are we ready to put in this effort? And are we able to do this even better? Do we think that we can make it better the second time round? And I think there are a couple of things that we really take with us from Malmö, but there are also other things that we like to improve. And as Jan-Ola mentioned, we've worked very, very hard in the team, but also with the EBU, to look at those improvements. In 2013, I think we were very sort of going back to the origins of the Eurovision contest, the Eurovision ideas, we called it. And we flirted a bit with nostalgia. This time we're in the city of technological innovation, as you just heard Stockholm tell us. So we want to be more contemporary, more modern in our visuals and production, and Sven will tell you more about that in a second. We also wanted to look at how we could improve the week for the Big Five, to get them fully involved in the whole sort of Eurovision week and the build-up to the grand final. So that's why you're seeing them for the first time on stage, which I think is a great improvement and gives all the contestants equal opportunities to have a build-up for the final. And the third thing, just to mention a few, is the ending of the show, of the grand final, which has been one thing that we've discussed for a long time on how we can keep the traditions alive, but also make an improvement. So I think Krista will sort of explain more about that. But those are the main things that we've looked at.
Thank you. Johan, what is the biggest technical differences between setting up Eurovision in the Globe compared to the arena in Malmö?
Well, the arenas are quite similar, but what we've done this time is that we put much more technology into the production. In Malmö we had projectors and so on. Here we have a huge amount of LEDs. It's about 900 square meters of LED floor and LED walls. Wow. And we use all the technology available to do this show. So it's a step forward in the line of the city also with the technology and looking forward.
Thank you. And Christer, the contest, tell us.
Well, it's going well. There are a lot of countries, a lot of work to do, and as Jan-Ola said, I'm working very, very closely with the countries. And as a TV producer, you always want to sort of control the drama. And actually what's happened in this show is that the ending of the show has sort of, you lose control. When you give it over, you hand over the control to spokespersons and the voting, and you can end up with either no drama or a lot of drama, but you never know. Like in Baku, we knew for 20 minutes that we were going to win. That is not really good TV, if you think about it. It's good for us, who won, but for the rest of Europe it was boring. So what we've done now is that we have a new system of delivering the votes, so that the jury vote comes first with the spokesperson, as usual. They give out all the 12 points only, the rest is given out in one go. And then in the end, we do all the televoting put together, and we start from the bottom and go up. Which means that in the end, you will know the final result. The last minute, you will know who wins. And it is really, really exciting. And we tried this for several years in Sweden, in Melodifestivalen, and it's worked really well. And it keeps the show very intense into the very last minute. And we love that system. We hope and sincerely think that this is going to make the show much better.
We look forward to it. Christer, was it difficult to set the running order this year?
No. It's a very good year. There is so many good songs, and they are of different character. And that's what it's all about. I mean, you try to keep similar expressions apart to get this really nice flow in the show. And we had all the material to do that. Fantastic songs, good artists, and it was just joyful to do it.
Great. We really look forward to seeing everything. So Sven, you've worked with Eurovision many times. What is unique this year? What is unique from your perspective this year?
Oh, it's super unique because I've been, as you know, new role for me. First of all, it's the first time I work in Stockholm and do this show at home, so to speak. But it's another responsibility, and it's of course much more got to do with the ideas and the content of the show. So for me, it's a big change and a great challenge and a great honor also to be able to do it.
Tell us about the inspiration for the so-called postcards this year.
The inspiration for the postcards is we had this idea 3 years ago to actually go out and visit, to reach out to all the participating countries, and the best way to do that is to actually visit them at their homes and show where they're coming from, to be able to represent another sort of come closer and show where they're from, so the viewers can have some sort of bond and contact with the artist before they actually see them for the first time on stage. So that was the idea, to create a relation. So we kept that, and we just wanted it to be even more, the form of the postcards was really important this time, so to create another look and to calm it down a little bit, so we don't have so many cuts, so the commentators can talk, and so the information can go through in another way, so we can actually see what's going on there. And so it's more in harmony, I think, this time.
Thank you. And how about the dynamic duo, Petra and Måns? How are they working together?
It's a pure pleasure to work with such professionals, and I don't know if I'm saying the correct thing here, but I used to call it like Swiss Army knives, because
Swiss Army knives?
Yeah, you can use them to whatever you want to. I mean, they can be fantastic hosts, they can be singers, dancers, yeah, you name it. They have the whole shebang. I mean, they really can manage anything in the show. And they're great fun to hang around with also. But so far, the best professionals in the business I've ever met. So happy with that.
Have you met quite a few?
Yes, some.
Some,
Yes.
all right. Well, thank you. And about the in-between acts, tell us about them.
Yes, as Martin said, it's the ambition was to be a little more forward-leaning and be modern, and I had a wish to like rock the boat a little bit, to be surprising, to surprise the viewer, because it's time for that. And so I think we'll do that in every show. We will surprise the viewer to sort of, wow, since it's such a repetitive show in all respect, because there are so many songs, it's just no way out of it. It would be fantastic to leave the viewers with one particular moment in each in the show where it sticks. So I think we're able to do that in a couple of spots in each show. So I'm happy with that, to sort of do something that's not done before in the way we do things in the order of the shows. Yeah, I'm secretive now, really abstract, but you will notice it's not going to be the way it usually is.
Well, you're making people very curious. I guess that's good. At least I'm very curious, so that's fun. Let's open up for some questions, see how much he will reveal if you ask more. Please stand up and state your name and where you're from.
Thank you. This is Fernando Mendes for Radio International. Good morning, everybody. Well, since you mentioned at the beginning, and we've been hearing about it quite a lot, the Eurovision Song Contest is going to be broadcast in the US. Is that pointing us to the direction of having one day the US as a guest country in Eurovision, or alternatively exporting the Eurovision format to the US?
I would say first the latter. We are actually also in contact with producers in the US to see if it's possible to stage a similar show as the Eurovision Song Contest in the US, competing states against states. I mean, this is an idea that not come from us, but actually from producers there who know the market. For everyone who knows the TV business in the US, it's very different from Europe, and so it has to be a different show adapted for the market. Still, if it carries the brand of Eurovision Song Contest one way or another, we have to make sure that it carries and is recognizable and just not a competition. So yeah, that will definitely be something we will look into very soon, or are looking into as we speak. When it comes to an American contestants in the show, I think that is for the future to say we have no plans on that. When it comes to the Australian participation, it was a reason why we invited Australia in the first place and did it again. They have a more than 30-year history with Eurovision Song Contest. They have a lot of fans. They love the contest. They can bring good artists and good values to the Song Contest. So I think that was a natural choice. You need a domestic audience in order to participate in Eurovision Song Contest. If you're not on air, haven't been on air in the country, why should you participate? Why should you even air it? But we're looking into how we could maybe one day stage the Eurovision Song Contest in the US.
Exciting. Question over here to the gentleman standing up already. Here we go.
Hi, Sean from ESC United. In a similar vein, is it working?
Yes.
Yeah. In a similar vein to the last question, you mentioned about potentially the Asian version of the Eurovision Song Contest. I was wondering if it's a plan in the future, potentially to open to other continents and maybe have a World Vision sort of competition in the future, where maybe the winners of each continent come together to have a sort of world victor.
Well, if we in the end manage to build strong contests outside of Europe, that could be an idea to connect this one way or another. But let me also say that we will never leave Eurovision Song Contest as we know it. It will still be from Europe with the same sort of atmosphere that we can create here and have created for 60 years. But it would be great if we could have other versions of Eurovision Song Contest, South America, US, maybe Africa, an Asian version, and by that maybe connecting this one way or another. But it takes time to build these things, so that's for the future.
Thank you. Over to the side here, please.
Good morning, my name is Maciej Mazański, I'm from Dobry Wieczór Europa, Poland. My question is, could you tell us what exact innovations in the terms of TV production, technology are new this year? And my second question is about announcing the results of televoting. Will the host announce all the results from the bottom to the top, or we will just see, like with the juries, that some points will come immediately and then the rest will be read out?
Who would like to answer?
I can start with the technology then. Well, there's, when I say that it changed a lot that is new, it's new from Malmö, of course. A lot of the technology is developed and is there, but we can supply a list with all the facts that we have technology-wise. I don't have it in my mind, but there's a lot of new things that we try.
Thank you. More questions, please?
voting.
Oh, you'd like to answer?
Yeah.
Here you go.
Okay, so the televote will be done in 2 blocks. The first block is the first 16, going from the bottom to 11th place. And that's done in its own sequence. So, starting, country, moving up the scoreboard, next one, and the hosts only say country and the points. Then we stop, breathe, and then you do top 10, and that's slower. So you actually build up the tension, and you make another stop at 5, and breathe again, and show the few contestants left to get points. It'll be exciting.
Thank you. Up front here.